In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice of this meeting has been properly advertised in the Daily Record and the Suburban Trends. Its agenda has been posted at the appropriate locations, and a copy has been filed with the Pequannock Township Clerk. Mr. Gibbs, if you could call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer?
Here.
Mr. Cerisi is absent. Mrs. Esposito?
Here.
Mr. Gittin is absent. Mrs. Ikeo?
Here.
Mr. McSweeney?
Here.
Mr. Pompeo?
Here.
Mr. Senek is absent. Mrs. Shenton?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Like to say the flag salute.
Of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all.
Okay, Mr. Senek is not here today. He is coaching a playoff game, a very intense playoff game for our Peewees. So we wish them luck. We hope that they win and move on to the next stages. So I just have a brief report. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Education, I hope our Pequannock teachers, staff, and families enjoyed the long weekend and had an opportunity to rest and recharge. As tomorrow we celebrate Veterans Day, we'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank all the veterans who have served our country. Your courage, dedication, and sacrifice have protected the freedoms we enjoy every day. We are deeply grateful for your service. It is with great sadness that we acknowledge the passing of Ms. Ellen Italiano, who served as a math teacher at Pequannock Valley Middle School for many years. Ms. Italiano was a dedicated educator who cared deeply about her students and their success. Our thoughts and prayers are with her family, friends, and colleagues during this difficult time. We would also like to extend our heartfelt congratulations to the Pequannock Township High School Marching Band, the best band in the land. This past Saturday, they performed nationals at MetLife Stadium, placing 4th overall with their highest score of the season, an outstanding 93.1. What an incredible accomplishment. Congratulations to all our talented students, director, and parents who support the program. Finally, this evening, we have the pleasure of recognizing several of our staff members who are receiving tenure. Congratulations to each of you on reaching this important milestone. We appreciate your hard work, dedication, and ongoing commitment to our students and schools. We wish you continued success in our careers here in Pequannock, in your careers here in Pequannock. Dr. Portes?
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Esposito. I'm going to pass it over to our student representatives.
Good evening, everyone. So glad to see you all again. Today, the second marking period began. Congratulations to the marching band who took 2nd in the state competition on November 1st and 4th in the national competition this past weekend. They had their highest score of the season with a 93.15. It was a great season for them. Thank you to Mr. Streifer, his team, and the AMPS for their hard work as well. Congratulations to girls soccer, who are conference champions. Congratulations to Chase Salvino, who placed 7th at the cross-country state sectional meet. Volleyball had its senior night last week. Thank you for all your hard work these past 4 years. Boys and girls soccer competed in the state tournament last weekend. The boys had a tough loss, 1-0 game to Waldwick, while the girls moved on with a 3-0 win over Saddlebrook. The girls will be playing on Wednesday at Waldwick in the semifinals at 5 p.m.
Habitat for Humanity is doing a fall food drive to help the Pequannock Food Pantry from November 11th to the 25th. Students and staff can bring donations to their Period 1 classes. Lists are posted around the school and in Mr. Hazer's newsletters. National Honor Society Nightmare Before Christmas fundraiser that welcomed middle school students last week. There were crafts, snacks, and even a movie theater popcorn maker. The school counseling department is starting ninth grade meetings this week. Grade 9 students will be meeting with their counselor individually to do a first market period reflection as well as set goals for the second market period. And PTHS is completing their NJSLA, NJGPA field tests this week on Wednesday and Thursday in ELA and math. PV started their tests today and will finish on Wednesday. Emily will finish the rest.
Good evening.
The student-run production of the children's musical Annie Jr. will be performed November 1st here in the auditorium at 7 p.m. The students will also be visiting the other schools in the district to perform during the day. Come out to support the cast and crew. Thank you to Mrs. Napa and Mrs. Barboza for their assistance. Congratulations to Claire Badami, a sophomore at PTHS who was selected for the All-State Choir. The choir sang this past Friday night at the NJEA convention in Atlantic City. PTHS would like to extend their gratitude to all those who have served our country, as we would like to honor on Veterans Day tomorrow. We would especially like to thank Mr. Murick, Mr. Richnavsky, and Mr. Leonard for their service in the U.S. Army. We would invite everyone to visit our PTHS Alumni Veteran Wall as we recognize all of our alumni who are veterans. PV and SJG will be holding their annual Veterans Day recognition tomorrow as well. PTHS is doing a monthly reflection on gratitude for the month of November. Mr. Hazler is posing questions to think about on each morning announcement related to gratitude. Today's question was, what do I want to say thank you for, even if I don't say it out loud? If any board members would like to share, please feel free. Expressing gratitude is very important. Thank you for your time and have a great night.
As always, very well presented. I'm just going to do a quick memory check back to our last meeting, which was October, about 2 weeks ago. And do you remember we had a conversation about the delivery of the voiceovers for the promo video? And there was one speaker who apparently reached a level of eloquence so moving that people were moved to tears. Do you remember which administrator was credited as such? Was Mr. Hazler? No, it was not. So I just wanted to just confirm that. So excellent. Well, very, very well presented. Appreciate it. And I like the idea of the gratitude reflections as well, because I think that's, especially with Thanksgiving coming up, which is the greatest day on the calendar, but it's such an important concept. And I think it's really important. So very nicely done. All right. Thank you all. All right. Before we move on to those tenure recognitions, I do have a few items for my report. First, congratulations from the election to Mrs. Esposito, Mr. McSweeney, and Mr. Mahalik on their resounding victory in the re-support election. They will be appointed, or in 2 cases, reappointed at the January reorganization meeting. So congratulations there. We survived Halloween. Next, we had an HSA president's meeting on Monday, November 3rd. I enjoy meeting with this group. It's a great way to get a sense of the pulse of what's going on in the greater community. And I've noticed there's a lot of collaboration across the schools on finding ways to best focus on fundraising. Ultimately, it helps all the kids in our district. And it's great because they're a really nice group as well. As the student representatives reported, we have started NJSLA field testing. As you know, the state has been kind enough to push out a new platform and format for the state testing that will take place this year. A lot of credit goes to our principals, as well as Mr. Shea and Mrs. Vansicle for their incredible patience and hard work and preparation on this. We started at PV today. Tomorrow is a blackout date because it's Veterans Day, and then we'll continue and look to get every school done for the end of the week. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and we do have two schools having wonderful ceremonies. PV has one at 10 a.m. We're going to move that one indoors. Based on the anticipated wind chill, we were concerned that students were not going to be able to play their instruments because their fingers would be frozen. So we're going to pivot indoors for that one. SJG will have concerts at 1:45 and 7 o'clock. And I can speak from attending both events that they're wonderful, very student-centered, and really a great way to share appreciation for our veterans. Glad too that the student representatives pointed out the Veterans Wall is open year-round. Something that if you get a chance to check it out, it's open during the day as well. It is really just a beautiful testament to community as well as the people who we honor who are our veterans. Elementary school conferences are going to begin Wednesday afternoon and then continue Thursday afternoon into the night. We will have early dismissals at the elementary schools only on Thursday as well as on Friday. And I hope that these sessions go well. And just a reminder that though the conferences themselves are fairly brief, the communication lines are open year round, and we encourage staff and families to maintain that very important component that really helps to serve students very well in their learning experiences. We have a meeting coming up on Thursday of next week. Actually, no, this week, sorry. It's the 13th on the preschool and sensory playground. We received an updated bid on the playground equipment as well as the surface. Went up about $4,000, but that's pretty manageable. What I'm really excited about is we're making a lot of progress with our grant applications. We have 2 volunteers who are working on that. One is a district parent. Another is just somebody from William Patterson who got involved through 2 of his friends and they've both been tremendous resources. Our town manager, Mr. Brewer, will also be at this meeting, as the Green Acres grant that we're looking to get most of the funding for the project through that process has to actually go through the township. So town council recently passed something supporting the project. We've filled out the paperwork, and Mr. Brewer has been a really great resource for this, and it's been moving very, very quickly, which I'm excited about, and we'll keep you posted. My goal is to have the playground opened up in time for the opening of school in September. And really the vision for this is that we will have playground equipment that accommodates not only our youngest students who are ages 3 and 4, most playground equipment is designed for students ages 5 through 12, but we'll also have playground equipment and a gathering place for families, for students with various special needs, including sensory needs, as well as special physical needs. And we'd like to really to become a place outside school hours where families can congregate and spend time together and celebrate and watching their kids have an opportunity to play and communicate and enjoy one another's company. Our AI committee has a meeting on Thursday, November 20th. I'm excited to get this one back up off the ground. Actually, one of our students got my ear today about a proposed AI class that could be offered as an elective at the school. So I'm excited about this, that a lot of the work for this is actually coming up from our students who are recommending things to us. And I want to make sure that our students and staff are well prepared, because you can push out all the great technology that you want, but if people aren't adequately prepared to use it, it becomes largely a waste. So excited to keep progress moving on that. Also like to echo what Ms. Esposito said, just to share our condolences on the passing of Ellen Italiano, who was a longtime math teacher at PV. Our condolences to the family. And then as a transition, it's a tough one to make, but tonight we are going to celebrate people who are earning tenure. And notice I didn't say that we're giving them tenure, because it's not something that's given. It is something that is earned. It's earned through your performance. And the people who are being recognized tonight were hired during a very difficult time in schools in New Jersey. We were still in the throes of the pandemic response and trying to not only accommodate students' learning needs, but social emotional needs and so much more. So I'm not trying to make it sound like you guys are survivors, but very impressed with the quality of your work. Tenure is not earned until you've been working in a place for 4 years and a day. And I'm excited about the roll call of excellence that we will celebrate tonight. So in a moment, I will have the 3 principals who are here tonight read off the names of the individuals from their schools who will be recognized. There are no speeches for this. You get that for retirement or for being here for 25 years. So stick around for 21 more years and you'll get a speech. But we do have certificates, and we'll look to get a picture with all of our staff members earning tenure up front. It'd be a nice thing to put on the website as well. So with that, we will make the transition. I believe our first principal will be Mr. Seborowski. You join me.
Good evening, and thank you, Dr. Porras and the Board of Education, for recognizing our staff members this evening. We'll start with Pequannock Valley School and science teacher Tracy Batelli. Next is, although she is already tenured as an English teacher, she'll now be tenured as a special education teacher, Christine DeStefano Perez. School counselor, Jenny Jacobs. And social studies teacher, Colin McBride. like to introduce Mr. Hazler.
Once again, I'd like to echo those same sentiments. I'm incredibly grateful for our 3 staff members who are earning tenure at PTHS and for the great things they do for our students and for our community. So up first is Susan Blanchard, phys ed teacher and coach at PTHS and PV. Special education teacher Michael Florick. He was unable to be here this evening, but Michael Florick. And computer science teacher Barbara Froelich. And I'll introduce Mr. Reiner, principal of SJG.
Good evening. Congratulations, everyone. I absolutely agree that tenure is definitely earned, and all these people have done a fantastic job for all the students at in Pequannock. So we'll start off with our teacher who's here, Miss Siwoo Kim, ESL teacher. And we also have Samantha Struble, who was unable to join us tonight. Thank you, sir. Congratulations again.
Panthers on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There was the Panthers. Panthers on 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. Excellent. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you.
Very shiny each other. All right. Thank you not only to those who attended, but also those who earned it, as well as our principals for presenting each of their staff members. And that concludes the superintendent report.
Thank you, Dr. Portes. Mr. Gibbs, do you have a report?
Yes. Good evening. On tonight's board agenda, there is a motion for the approval of the submission of the New Jersey Quality Single Accountability Continuum, also known as QSAC, which is the Direct Performance Review, or DPR. The DPR will be submitted on Tuesday, November 11th, in accordance with state guidelines. On October 29th, Dr. Portes, Mr. Anderson, and I met with Mr. Muffett, the Morris County Business Administrator, to review what is happening with the existing board office and the plans for the new board office. On November 5th, the board office received a letter from the Executive County Superintendent with a recommendation to dispose of the board office property in accordance with the contract with the post office. On October 30th and October 31st, the board office received 2 open requests, one for staff information and the other for insurance policy information, of which were honored in accordance on October 31st in accordance with state guidelines. Finally, the FFA discussion portion of tonight's board meeting will encompass an update on the 2025-2026 budget, development of the 26-27 budget, update on the new board office, an update on the sale of the board office property, and snow plowing services. And finally, I'd like to introduce tonight to have Ms. Mantell, Mr. Coe, from the our CPAs from the Savaccia LLP, who will give a presentation on the school's 2024-2025 financial audit.
Good evening, and thanks for having us here. I think you've seen Brian and I before, and I just wanted to announce that I am retiring and I won't be back here next year, but Pequannock School District has been very near and dear to my heart. So I wanted to thank you for the opportunity that I've had over time and leaving Brian behind to take care of the district, and I know that he will. So with that, we'll talk about the financial results of the June 30th, 25 audit. And you were going to start with that, right, Brian? Sure.
Good evening. Thank you for having us today. So we're going over the draft of the audit report. So the current audit is not complete because we're waiting on the federal compliance supplement. We will meet the December 5th deadline, but it's going to be a slightly, I'm going to say modified report, but it's not a modified opinion. The report's going to be missing the federal compliance supplements because they have not been released yet. We're going to release it with the state compliance supplements. And then once that information is released, we'll issue a couple page report that includes the federal compliance supplement.
And I was just told today by absolute surprise that the DOE is considering something and we're not sure what. So what Brian just told you may or may not come to fruition, because when we're doing the audits, we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So what may happen is they may delay the deadline, which is not what any of us want to see. We want to get the audits filed. So we'll wait and see, but we'll keep Gordon informed as to how that progresses. But we're only a few weeks out from the deadline, so typical that we would get the information at the last minute. But we're prepared. We were prepared to release it by December 5th. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so these financials that we're going to go over and in the summary in front of you, the numbers are not going to change. Just some of the paragraphs in the report would be what would be changing. Okay, so I'm going to start with general fund. So general fund started the year, June 30th, 2024. Sorry, ended June 30th, 2024 with $17.5 million. We ended June 30th, 2025 with $15.77 million. So that's $1.7 million decrease. So the biggest changes were capital reserve that decreased by 1.18 million. That was due to a budgeted withdrawal, which is offset by some excess that was transferred back and interest. Maintenance reserve decreased by 67,000. That also had budgeted withdrawals, but then that was offset by excess returned. Current year excess surplus decreased by 591,000, and the prior year excess surplus was a decrease of 326,000, and then extraordinary aid actually increased by 174,000, and your 2% unassigned went up by 47,000 or so. So that all compiles up to the $1.7 million decrease. So what makes up the 1.7 is the variations within the income statement itself. So you have unrealized or revenues that came in excess of the budgeted amounts. For local of 595,000, state of 597,000, and then federal, which was $20,000 deficit for, that's the state dictates what amount you budget for that, but you usually or pretty much always never get as much as they tell you you're going to get, but we see that everywhere. So then unexpended appropriations were almost $4 million, but we did use budgeted fund balance of $4.3 million. So we expect some of those appropriations to not be used during the year to help to meet that, budgeted fund balance for the succeeding years. And then a couple of other items, the budget withdrawal, cap reserve, and maintenance reserve, which I mentioned, encumbrances and some other small changes add up to the $1.7 million decrease in overall fund balance.
So if you take away the withdrawals from the capital and maintenance reserves, in essence, you were able to have unexpended appropriations and excess revenue to support what you utilized in the 25 budget. So going into next year, at the bottom of the first page, we show that the district used $4.1 million plus another $229,000, which was $4.3 million in 24-25. For 25-26, the budget contemplates $3.7 million plus the 293 or $4 million. So I like seeing that reduction. And then in 26-27, calculating the 2% and what you had above that left you with $3,182,000 to put forward to 2027. And I asked Brian that he would let me make these comments on this end because of the 80, almost 90 school districts that we audit, and I audit 17 of them myself, it's the same, that costs are going up. I mean, we went through the pandemic, we came out, who would have known that you would see record levels of inflation? Contracts are being settled well above 2%. I was talking to some other school districts today. They're currently in this year of their contractual agreements paying 3.4, 3.5. So it's just cautionary that every measure should be taken to make sure that the district is replenishing that fund balance that's being used in each budget. And it's definitely going to make it challenging. We've heard the word in the last probably 6 weeks of what the health insurance rates were going to be, and it's staggering. But when the budget is prepared, there is a section for anything above the 2% that the district can raise. I know it's not popular or something that you want to do to raise taxes, but in this climate, if you're not keeping pace with the expenses that you have, you're going to end up having a very, very difficult time. So with that, I will turn this over to Brian.
Okay, so then there's just a little chart there about capital reserve and maintenance reserve. It just goes into detail about some of the items I mentioned already. One additional note there is that portions of those reserves have already been restricted for use in your current year, the 25-26 school year. So the budget withdrawal of cap reserve is 3 million and a little less than $1 million for the maintenance reserves. So the 630-25 numbers that we're telling you of, actually chunks of those have already been used to support the current year's budget. Fund 30, Capital Projects Fund, closed out completely this year. This is the first time in quite a while that we were able to fully close out the fund as of June 30th. Really happy about that. It makes our numbers nice and neat. Those SDA projects were finally received last October, I want to say, which is great. Those were open for a while, but those are done and we're really happy. And now we're going to start some new ones maybe. So Food Service Fund. Food service saw a decrease in net position of $16,000. The year before that, 2024, it was a decrease of $20,000. There's a small deficit in unrestricted net position at 2025 of $37,000. That is offset by the investment in capital assets for a total net position of $20,000. We want to keep an eye on that. Currently, the district contributes about $75,000 from general fund to the food service fund. I think it was maybe $50,000 the year before. So it looks like that might have to keep trending in that direction of additional contributions from the general fund, since you don't participate, and that money will help be able to keep the food service fund running. And then we're proud to announce that we have no recommendations in the audit this year. We'd like to thank Gordon for his wonderful job and his wonderful team too. Jackie and Loretta and the rest of the team do such a wonderful job. And it's really nice to come visit you in Pequannock there. It's nice to see everyone and spend the week or two and go through the books, and everyone's so appreciative of the work that you all do, and it's really great to work with you all. And it's nice to see smiling faces when we come visit, because a lot of places aren't happy to see their auditors. But we really do like working at Pequannock and working with everyone, and we appreciate the effort that they put forth.
So in all of my years as being an auditor, I always said, don't fear the auditor. But the thing with that is we work together. So we always say, don't be afraid to tell us what went wrong. We're going to work with you and help you devise a plan to make it go better. And they've really taken it to heart. I mean, all the clients that we have, they are really wonderful clients, and they don't want the easy way out. They want to be the best version of themselves. And so with that, that brings me a lot of joy and a lot of pride in my career to say that it's just been an absolute pleasure working with all the people in Pequannock, because they've all had that same mindset. You know, if we're not doing something the best we can do it, practically speaking, right? Everything has to be worth the effort. You know, you get really great results. So thank you again. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
All right, great. Well, thank you for having us. Of course, we're here all year long. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Gordon can get in contact with us, not just during audit time, but the whole year long. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanksgiving and a wonderful Christmas, and we'll be in touch about how quickly we can issue the audit.
Congratulations on retirement.
Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ms. Pentel and Mr. Coe and their team for doing a great job on the school's audit. It's really appreciated. And you guys are very thorough, which I really appreciate. I'd also like to thank the board office team, especially Ms. Massaro, Mrs. Fuentes, Mrs. Reese, and Mrs. Colicchio for doing a great job in helping to make the school audit successful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you. All right. Thank you to Mr. Gibbs and his team and Dr. Portes for making that so easy. Okay, so we have open to the public comments, agenda items only. There's nobody here, but I will read the statement anyway. Members of the public may speak once for a maximum period of 5 minutes by the clock during the portion of the meeting. The public may speak on any agenda item during their 5 minutes. As I have nobody here, I'm going to close that. No minutes. Okay. So we're going to go into our approval of action items. Mrs. Shenton, can you move PMC? Please.
Absolutely. I'd like to move PMC 87-26 through PMC 89-26.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, Mr. Gibbs, if you could call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer,
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi is absent, Mr. Gittens absent, Ms. Akeo,
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney. Yeah. Mr. Pompeo,
Yes.
Ms. Shenton,
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito,
Yes.
and Mr. Senick is absent. The motion carries.
Thank you. I'd like to move CIS. I'd like to move CIS 48-26 through CIS 50-26.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, roll call, Mr. Gibbs, please.
Mr. Bloomer,
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi is absent, Mr. Gittens absent, Ms. Akeo,
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo,
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton,
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito,
Yes.
and Mr. Senick's absent. The motion carries.
Thank you. Mr. Bloomer, can you move FFA?
I'd like to make a motion to move FFA 69-26 through FFA 71-26.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, Mr. Gibbs?
Mr. Bloomer,
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi is absent, Mr. Gittens absent, Ms. Akeo,
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo,
Yes.
Mrs. Shenton,
Yes.
Mrs. Esposito,
Yes.
and Mr. Senick is absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll go into our workshop discussion items. So up first, we have PMC. Staffing update, SGO and PDP process for staff and administrators.
Yep. I'll take the lead on this one. First one, in terms of staffing update, appreciate we just approved the leave replacement for our pre-K program. Very excited about that. I had a wonderful interview with our lead candidate. I think she's going to be a great addition to our program. I know she's really excited to be a part of it. Some of these positions are quite difficult to fill. So when you find somebody who's not only qualified, but also enthusiastic, it's particularly exciting. Same applies also. We have a guidance counselor for Hillview, who's also serving as a lead replacement, who is participating in the onboarding process up in the board office today. So good progress there. And then just one other item of great interest is that we are moving into the final round for the high school choir interviews, and we're very impressed with the candidate pool that we have there. We're very strategic in how we posted it in terms of making sure that we listed a salary guide that was salary guide possibilities that were open to people who have experience, as we would like somebody with experience to be able to fill the role. So quite pleased with the candidate pool there. And we're also very happy with the lead replacement we currently have in place. I popped into the room the other day and I was able to hear some absolutely gorgeous singing as the students shared with me a portion of what they're doing with Silent Night. And it really sounded tremendous. So excited for the progress there. Any questions about staffing? And then second one, this is just something that's somewhat of a boilerplate item year to year, but it's important to note that the SGO process for tenured staff members changed for this year. Staff members who are tenured do not have to submit SGOs. They can recycle the scores that they have from the previous year. What changed for this year is this is also applicable to tenured administrators. They just had to meet a deadline in which to let either Mrs. Vansickle or me know that they were going to submit this year. If there was silence, we understood that they were not submitting anything new. And all of our non-tenured still had to submit. And what we worked with them was to focus on measurable student learning outcomes. Really, we're very focused on growth, which is something I know Mrs. Vansickle has spoken about quite a bit in her data analysis, and rightfully so, because it's incredibly important. And we really want to make sure that the SGO goals, as well as what's in the PDPs, which is professional development plans, that an SGO is student growth objectives, but that they're also connected to the district goals, which are in turn connected to strategic goals. We don't want all these different planning processes and goal statements to exist in isolation. They really need to overlap and align. So we feel it's much better that the data that the teachers are focusing on collecting that's going to reflect student learning is connected to what we're doing in our district goals. So it was a smooth process. We had everybody done in advance of the end of October state requirement, which is particularly important in a CUSAC year, but went well. And then we'll have check-ins as we get into the new calendar year, and then review the outcomes in the spring. So successful process. Any questions on either the student growth objectives or the professional development plans? All right, that concludes any discussion items that I have for PMC.
Thank you. Curriculum instruction and special services, upcoming NJSLS content area revisions, focus grant update in regard to the universal screening K-3.
Okay, so just to let you know, the state has to, well, they revise their New Jersey student learning standards every 5 years on a cycle. So the state has their monthly meetings every Wednesday, in case anybody's interested in some very exciting, programming. So upcoming in November, which was on the 5th, they started the process for readopting career readiness standards and science standards, looking for a spring adoption. And in December, they will be doing computer science and design thinking, world languages, visual performing arts, and preschool, which are all really big content areas. So that they're looking at the December. There's public comment. If you go onto the state board website, onto the agenda, you can access the link to the public comment if you want to comment on any of the upcoming changes to these standards. Any questions on that? Well, I don't know exactly all the changes yet because they have to post the computer science, world language, visual and performing arts. I would rather just say perhaps we shouldn't do such large ones all together the same year. That would be my recommendation. Anything else? And the focus grant, just a quick update. So with the focus grant, this is for our early literacy universal screener. The mandate this year that all K-3 students need to be screened. As we've mentioned before, we were already ahead of the curve on that. But on our PD Day on October 21st, we had training for all of our K-3 teachers, plus special ed, plus our CST members, plus counselors. We did a really large training at Hillview with our vendor. She was excellent. And they went over how to analyze the data that they took from the Dibbles data and started work on how they can inform instruction based on the data. They're coming back on December 9th for another 2-hour training with the same staff. And then again in February, on February 3rd for another 2-hour training. So I just want to give you an update on that is progressing well.
Awesome. Thank you.
I want to add, if I may, one item I just found out about this afternoon, that the process is moving quicker than I had thought. I had a conversation last week with the superintendent from Morris County VOTEC regarding the Share Time Academy. There had been discussion at their level of taking the Share Time Academy that we currently host and moving it to the new facility that's been constructed at the County College of Morris. That just opened up for this year. And I'm quite disappointed in this. When I was looking through their agenda from October, it wasn't listed. They did have something in there about going into exec, but the minutes didn't reflect that any decision had been made. But I understand there's going to be communication this week, letting students know that the current juniors will continue in the program, but they will not be sending a new cohort to us. This is actually consistent with what is in our agreement. The agreement is going to expire at the end of the school year. We had expected it was going to be renewed. It's been an incredibly successful program. So I am, to say the least, quite disappointed that our partners at the county vocational school are choosing this direction. As far as I understand, the program at County College of Morris will not have a clinical shadowing experience with an adjacent hospital, which is something that we do offer. I've already started some conversations about whether we can offer our program out to some of our neighbors, see if they would be interested. We will continue with our full-time program that's currently available to Pequannock students and Lincoln Park students, and begin to determine if other districts would like to take advantage of the opportunities that are available to the students in our program. But I wanted to make sure that I put this out there before any announcements come from VOTEC regarding this, as it's a rather significant matter. Any questions about that? Thank you.
Dr. Portis, I think it was mentioned previously, do we know what the, could you go say again, how many students are a part of the shared time, and do we know what the monetary impact will be?
I don't have the exact number at my fingertips of the number of students we have right now, but ultimately the juniors would be staying for their senior year. The position that I have there, it's in the contract as well, but to me, it would be terribly unfair to tell those students, oh, you're going to have 3 different high schools over the course of 4 years. But I can get the numbers for what we currently have for enrolled seniors as well as for enrolled juniors. I'll just focus on the share time because there will be no change to our full-time academy, which is for, as I said, our kids as well as Lincoln Park. We have gotten a few tuition paying students in our full-time program as well, which I'd like to open that up more because I know the districts that have sent students to our program have been quite pleased with the outcomes, particularly the families. I've had some of my neighbors in Lincoln Park speak about great experiences their kids are having in college as a consequence of the learning that they were a part of in this school. And I get this is the business of things. There are some concerns from districts pretty far out west in Morris County about the cost of transporting students to Pequannock. To me, though, it's the cost of doing business. We also send students to academies that are farther west in Morris County, and we do it because it's in the best interest of the students. We don't have a dance program, so we transport them to Morris Knolls as an example. But I will get those numbers for you, and I'll share those obviously with the whole board.
Okay.
I can tell you.
Or I'll have Anne Marie take care of it right now.
There are 79 share time students that are with us between junior and senior year, and we have 40 juniors.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? Okay, FFA.
The update on the 2025-2026 budget. The mid-year budget is almost complete with the necessary changes in accordance with Chapter 44 health insurance changes and staff position control changes in accordance with the new salary guide and the changes in staffing. The health insurance changes currently reflect an $883,000 increase due to the 32% increase in premiums and the number of staff members making the change to the state health insurance plan. The changes in salaries reflect a $538,000 increase due to the increase in salaries above the estimated 3% and movement on the salary guide. The adjustments will be made for the December 15th board approval. Any questions?
I'm just going to put it out there too. That I appreciate not only the work that Ms. Mantell has done through the years, but also her choice of word to describe the increase in the health insurance. The 32% is something that we learned about the changes in mid-September. And if you recall, we presented on the initial budget in March and had it approved in April. So this is a budget that had to be submitted in a timely manner. And I feel like this is yet again, the rules changing well after the game has already started. So we have to find a way to find this money for the last 6 months of the operating budget. I think it's a terrible way to do business. I understand that there are concerns and logistics well beyond my control, but it just the enormous frustration of putting work into preparation and then being told that one of your most significant budget drivers is going up at an exorbitant level is incredibly difficult and incredibly frustrating.
Any questions? No. The development of the 2026-27 budget. The 2026-2027 budget process has started with the distribution of the department budget worksheets that will be going out this week. In accordance with the budget calendar, January 13th is a deadline for all administrators to submit their budgets. Any questions? Update on the new board office. The architects have submitted a request to the state for the purchase of 494 Newark Pompton Turnpike. To date, we have not received a response from the state. It is anticipated that the school district may go before the town council on December 4th, 2025 to have the zoning and variance applications approved. If approved, the school district is looking to close in the building in January 2026. Any questions? Update on the sale of the board office property. The post office is not willing to modify their appraisal, and the post office wants to go for a third appraisal in order to get the final determination. Mr. Carter also suggested that we provide the new appraiser with 2 appraisals and have already been done with the 2 appraisals that have already been done. Obviously, it was up to the board committee in decision to release that information, as the post office is okay with the board office's decision either way. I've requested him to provide me with 3 names as well as the cost of each appraisal for the board approval. To date, he's only sent me 1 appraisal for $5,000. Any questions? Snow plowing services.
Oh, wait,
I'm sorry.
all right. So what happens if we can't come to an agreement on the appraisal?
It can go to arbitration, but hopefully it won't go that route.
Yeah, the contract does lay out specifically that if we can't agree on the 2 appraisals, you do have to go for a third.
Mm-hmm.
Just need to have 3 possible, I guess, vendors that we can use to provide that, and then we'll choose whichever we want to go with. The process has been quite slow.
Is there a timeline that they have to provide the 3 vendors by?
No. Well, we were supposed to be done by February 1st. So, the federal government is working at their pace. So, any other questions? No? Nope. Snow plowing services. Since we will be down 1 driver for snow plowing, I've asked Mr. Brewer, the town's business administrator, for some assistance from the DPW for snow removal, and he stated that he doesn't have anyone available on a permanent basis, but he could possibly help us from time to time. So we'll be working around that issues, obviously, when the snow flies. Yeah. Any questions on that?
And this is something I'll point out that this actually impacts the decisions that I make for whether we have delayed openings or closures for snow. So I did discuss somewhat informally earlier this morning with Mr. Gibbs, a few other possibilities we can look into, but we need to be able to clear the snow. So being short-staffed right now, in early November, we can manage it, but looking ahead to what we're facing December through March, knowing that we're in North Jersey, it's a concern. So we'll have to get creative in our solution finding, which we've already discussed a few options, but I don't want to get kids too excited because I know that they probably love the idea of having to call or having to change our tolerances for calling for delayed openings and or snow days, but it adds one more wrinkle into an already complicated situation.
Any other question?
If it came down to it, are we allowed to hire a third party?
Yeah, we can. We're looking into that also.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Any other questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Let's see, what do we have next? Policy 5460, high school graduation, regulation 5516R. Mr. McSweeney or Dr. Portes?
Yeah, so these ones have been up before, and I just want to put it out there. We should act on them. First reading coming up. We had tabled the high school graduation, and Emery can actually speak to this better than I, because she actually is more familiar with the State Board of Education. But we just have to approve. There are a few other changes within it, but the greatest thing is approving the number of minimum credits required. We had tabled it because of conversations from a State Board of Education meeting. And Emery, can you just speak to that real quickly?
So at the October State Board of Ed meeting, they approved the new standards and assessment. They adopted it, so it was finalized then. And in the new standards and assessment law and Jack 6, they have outlined some adjustments in the language for the high school graduation. They adjusted the science language in particular. So as opposed to having 3 lab courses, they've changed it to evidence-based science courses, which shall include physical science, life science, earth and space science, and engineering design. So there have been some updates to the language there. I didn't see there's 120 credits in terms of but we do more credits than that. They have the financial aid requirement for graduation. They have some new language regarding alternate assessments. It's now the AA-AAS assessment for students with significant disabilities for the graduation. So there's some changes in the language. It's a 110-page document. So I've read through it once, but I need to go back through it again and pull out all the details that might matter. But to me, the biggest change was the science piece. And then they also are allowing for flexibility on granting credit for experiential based learning. So that's some new language that's in there. And they also identified the or the tests that students can take if they do not pass the NJGPA. So they said, the PSAT, the SAT, and one in particular is the ASVAB is now part of the portfolio appeals process. So there's language in there surrounding those things. But again, at the October board meeting agenda, if you'd like to read the 110-page document, I can provide cliff notes because I'll be going through it. But that's where most of that came from.
We might bring that document to the AI committee and see if we can get distilled down to a 2-page summary. Yeah, and as far as anything else that's in, policy 5460. I put a document in backup, but I mean, we pay the costs for the seal of bioliteracy assessment, that's an easy one. Everything we have in place should remain in place. We're adding the FAFSA requirement, which though it's not in the existing policy, it's something we're already doing in practice because it's a requirement and it supports our kids. So nothing really significant there. It's just I wanted to point out that we did table it with the understanding that something was going to be changing from the state that ultimately really did not, like nothing substantial, which is a refrain that's going to be repeated for regulation 5516, which is I think Strauss did a good job on it, but we were anticipating there was going to be more legislation coming from the state. We got guidance from the state, but fairly vague statements that to me kind of smacked of theories of common sense. And then we got the grant opportunity, which was to enforce a bell-to-bell ban on phones in grades 6 through 12, which I didn't feel like we were ready to make that shift, despite the dangling of the $4,700. But as far as where we are, there will be, as far as I can tell, no additional legislation, no firm stance from the state that you will follow this directive. I feel like their MO is going to be to provide local control, and I'm more than fine with that. So we'll finalize the language for the regulation, submit it for the committee's approval, and get this one approved quite soon as well.
I would imagine that the timing for that, once we get it approved, we would implement it for the new school year.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely after my mini diatribe about changing the rules after the game has already started, I would look like quite the hypocrite. So yeah, I agree. We'll put it in place for 26, 27, and pretty much everything we'll have will just reinforce what we have in our handbooks anyway. So I don't anticipate any dramatic shifts. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Can I just say one thing on the FAFSA? Just since we're saying this and it's public, they did specify for the graduating classes of 25, 26, and 27, either the FAFSA or the New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid application, or there's an exemption if they read through particular documents. So just so you know, it's a couple choices there versus one, and it has been specified for those 3 graduating classes versus forever.
And one other item too that wasn't in the original Strauss for policy 0177, professional services, something that we have as a district that's not in the Strauss language is a specific timeline for doing RFPs for different vendors. This is for professional services. We have it in there to keep language of every 3 years of having a timeline. So it's already in there. It'll remain in there. Unless I'm directed otherwise, but just want to let you know that that's one that wasn't in the Strauss packet that was shared with you, but we realize it's in our existing language for 0177, which is up for first reading or second reading.
Awesome. Any questions or comments? Discussion? Okay. So I'd like to open comments to the public again. However, we don't have anybody here, so I'm going to open and close them. Any board members' unfinished business? Any board member new business? Okay, any board member announcements?
I have a couple. So in reply, first of all, to Emily's gratitude challenge, I actually had something I was already going to talk about, so it fits in perfectly. As always, I'm grateful for my family, my health, but today I'm especially thankful for Mr. Shea, who made my 8th grader's day. She was frustrated with a tech issue last week, and I suggested she email him for help. She came home today beaming, so excited because not only did he solve her problem, but he also sent her a very, very nice email. And so he probably doesn't realize it, but his small act of kindness truly meant a lot to both of us. So special thanks to him from the Shetton household today. Unrelated, But as a board member, I'm also always very happy to serve our community and listen to your concerns. But I do ask that you please don't stop at my house and knock on my door. The best way to share concerns or feedback is by attending a Board of Ed meeting and or emailing the board directly. So I just wanted to put that reminder out there again. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we do have consideration to go into executive session. We will adjourn from executive session. Do I have a motion to go into exec?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.